Considerations, we are going to strike number 9. Does anybody else have any other agenda considerations? Is there anyone who wishes to speak on an agenda or non-agenda item? Kirk, which number?
What's that?
Which number did you want to speak on?
Well, 16 is one of them, but I have some other things that are non-agenda items.
Okay.
My name's Kirk Allen. Emailed a couple of correspondences back and forth, included to the state's attorney. Are you folks still of the contention that you can bind the hands of a future board with your contract with the ambulance? Has that been a legal opinion presented to you folks at all in that regard?
Brian?
I haven't seen said email that he's talking about.
I haven't either.
You didn't get my email?
No, sir.
I'll be happy to resend it then. Case law points that you can't bind the hands of a future board except on very key matters. And your board is a 2-year board. Even though you serve 4-year terms, it changes every 2 years, and therefore you can't bind the hands of future boards. By doing what you did, you take the hands out of the voters, or you take the voters' ability to change things by binding future boards. And I'll forward that information along with the case law that supports that. We came to an insurance committee meeting. I know the contention was at the time that it wasn't a committee meeting, but we had insurance committee members that were in the back room, at least 2 of them. I hope that that gets rectified. If you'd like to address that, I would appreciate it. The other question I have, item 16, discussion on building EMS building for leased EMS provider. The county code powers and duties is real clear about the erection of buildings and what you can build them for. The Illinois Constitution is also just as clear that you can't lease public property for private purpose, and there's case law to support that as well. In regards to 15, wanting to build that building, if you look at your county code powers and duties, you may erect a building for agricultural experiments, maintain a county hospital, nursing home, non-sectarian hospital, motor vehicle parking facilities for persons using county buildings. There's no provision to build something for EMS. I also understand about 2 weeks ago we got notified that the contract had been amended and that now Altamont Ambulance was providing services in 3 parts of the county. I'm curious as to how that took place without board action.
That was part of the transition agreement between the 2 services, and we agreed to allow them to have a transition purpose, or transition.
After that transition had already passed, and now Altamont is...
No, transition isn't done yet.
The 90 days isn't passed?
No, sir.
Okay. I was under the impression that it had already passed.
No.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay.
Aaron Fisher.
Which item number, Eric?
What's that?
Which item number did you want to?
First I have a couple of non-agendas, but I'll touch on the 12 also. I have a quick question. Did any county board member that's sitting here in front of me today use their personal cell phone, personal email, or county email to discuss the ambulance situation in Effingham County in the last 3.5 years? Since y'all didn't answer, I'm going to assume that that is a yes. Could any one of you tell me why a taxpayer that FOIA'd such information did not receive 1 email or 1 text? No explanation?
I forwarded some emails to Brian.
I'm perplexed because we had a FOIA from this, and I thought we had supplied the information.
And I supplied everything I got on my personal email.
Because it all came through the litigation, and Chris had 10,000 documents he went through. I thought he sent them over, and we tried to forward it back over.
Okay. Your query on that had been requested, and if I'm not mistaken, I thought it was Mr. Allen had requested that information, the FOIA for that. So we've done that, and we've got that information. Now, why you don't have that information? We'll have to
I got 404 documents. Approximately 100 of them were ambulance inspection forms. 200 of the pages were minutes from meetings of the county board and the ambulance oversight committee for multiple years. And the other 100 were J.D. Welton of Altamont Ambulance, Effingham City County, personal emails to various county board members. But I did not receive one county board member's email, personal email, or text.
I don't recall even getting that request.
Well, Kerry fulfilled it, 404 pages. He didn't charge me. Thank you, Kerry. All right, the building. Even regarding Mr. Kirk Allen's thought about the legality of it, why would we build a building if there's no trust and they haven't proven themselves yet? They've actually proven the opposite, but I'll get to that later. It seems like a poor business decision with such a flexible contract, your terms, not mine, such a flexible contract, they could get out of the lease and then the taxpayers of Effingham County are going to be footing that bill. Mr. Allen already talked about the contract change and the extension. What, if anything, is being done in regards to the dropped calls by Abbott and the radio communications that are not being reliable at this time? There's been several dropped calls, multiple mutual aid requirements by City, County, and or Altamont Ambulance. If we can't trust this ambulance service to cover half the county, how are we going to trust them to cover the whole entire county? Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meetings? Motion by Lloyd, seconded by Karen. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 5, do I have a motion to accept the officers' monthly reports? Motion by Jeff. Second. Second by Dave. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 6, I have a motion to approve the bills, county board per diems and expenses.
Also moved.
Motion by Joe.
Second.
Second by Rob. Any discussion? Please, Carrie.
Clay Foster.
Yes.
Karen Litchfield.
Yes.
Dave Campbell.
Yes.
John Perry.
Yes.
Dave Simpson.
Yes.
Doug McCain.
Yes.
Rob Arnold.
Yes.
Joe Perry.
Yes.
Item number 7. Tim Foran.
Yes, sir.
I have something for you.
Thank you.
A token of our appreciation for your service. We have, I believe, we have a resolution. Whereas Timothy D. Forehand has performed in his position at the Effingham County Sheriff's Office in a professional and loyal manner, and whereas Timothy Forehand began his employment on December 20th, 1996, he has worked diligently in the last 21 years as a deputy, and therefore be it resolved that we, the Effingham County Board, County of Effingham, State of Illinois, do hereby commend Timothy Forehand on his 21-year commitment, dedication to the people of Effingham County. Be it further resolved that we wish you the best of health and happiness in retirement, presented this 21st day of August, 2017. Do I have a motion, Dave?
I'd like to make that motion.
And do I have
I'll second.
Second by Rob. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And then we have a certificate of appreciation as well.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Quite an honor.
Is Judy Overbeck. We didn't give Tim a clock, we can't tell time sometimes. Yeah. Judy? Judy Overbeck has performed her position at the Effingham County Health Department in a professional and loyal manner. And whereas Judy Overbeck began her employment on June 1st, 1982, she has worked diligently for the past 33 years, currently serving as the HealthWorks case manager. And therefore be it resolved that we, the Effingham County Board, County of Effingham, State of Illinois, do hereby commend Judy Overbeck on her 33-year commitment and dedication to the people of Effingham County. And be it further resolved that we wish you the best of health and happiness in your retirement. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Karen. Doug?
I'll second.
And a second by Doug. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Linda. Small token of our appreciation. And whereas Linda Hampton has performed the position at the Effingham County Health Department in a professional and moral manner, and whereas Linda Hampton began her employment on August 22nd, 1994, she has worked diligently for the last 23 years and currently serves as the Health Works Coordinator. Therefore, be it resolved that we, the Effingham County Board, County of Effingham, State of Illinois, do hereby commend Linda Hampton for a 23-year commitment and dedication to the people of Effingham County, and be it further resolved that we wish you the best of health and happiness in your retirement. Do I have a motion? Doug?
Yes.
And
I'll second that
Second,
motion.
Karen. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Linda, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Linda Dittemore. Guess you have an empty house out there. Token of our appreciation. And whereas Linda Dittemore has performed her position at the Effingham County Health Department in a professional and loyal manner, and whereas Linda Dittemore began her employment on December 28, 1997, she has worked diligently for the last 19 years and currently serves as the financial assistant. Therefore, be it resolved that we, the Effingham County Board, County of Effingham, State of Illinois, do hereby commend Linda Dittemore on her 19-year commitment and dedication to the people of Effingham County. And be it further resolved that we wish you the best of health and happiness in your retirement. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion from Karen.
Second.
Seconded by Doug. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. It's about 100 years of experience there between the four of them. Item number 8. Weston Company, this is to accept the financial statement for the year ending November 30, 2016.
I so move.
Motion by Rob, second by Lloyd. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 10. This is the Supporting Manufacturing Day. This is $2,000 out of Economic Development. Motion? Yeah, I'll make that motion. Motion by
second.
Dave, seconded by Rob. Is there any discussion?
I guess everybody's for it. I'm kind of against it because I don't know if taxpayer money should go to something like that. I think the people that is going to go like Lowe's and guys, staff company should be put more money in something like this. And the kids that come to here, so definitely have to put money into it too. You know, this is like us in Alliance, we give Alliance money. Now they're giving money to this, so we're double dipping on us. So, you know, I got mixed emotions about it.
Okay. Is there any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
No.
Just 2 noes. Item number 11, this is a revolving loan to Steve's Liquor and Snacks Incorporated. This is for $30,000, and this comes with the recommendation of the Effingham County Advisory Board. Dave?
Yeah, we had Steve approach us about wanting to start a new business here in Effingham County. He has been working with a bank to get the building and everything built, but he needed some equipment funding. And so we are kind of his source to get that done. And And he brought it to the committee, and the committee looked at it, approved it. We talked to Brian. Brian's going to work up all the paperwork on it.
Well, the initial paperwork was good. Now we just need, once Steve takes the money, is to then put a UCC lien on the equipment he purchased. But obviously he needs the money first before he can go buy the stuff, so.
Yeah, we won't have the certain numbers till he gets the equipment.
Okay.
He is making a new position, of course, the building, he will have 2 part-time, so 2 full-time equivalents, so these are criteria. Motion to approve.
Motion by Jeff,
A second?
second by Rob. Is there any discussion?
And this is revolving loans, so how long is it?
This, well, we can go any terms, but he took the 5-year term, 3%. Our standard rate is 3%, and we go up to 5 years.
Up to.
Yeah, so he, you know.
I think it's a great idea. Anytime you can help a local business get up and running and entrepreneur like Steve, I think it's a great idea.
And created a
Try to
couple more
help them.
jobs.
Create a couple jobs. It's great that we could do that.
And we're not competing with the bank, that's a good thing. I mean, it's just a gap that wasn't being able to be filled through the bank, so we don't want to be in competition with the banks, so worked out very well.
Jim,
Yes.
just to add to that, so that everybody here knows, that money was a grant that the committee got. It's not taxpayer money. It was a grant that we got for this very purpose. And we loaned it all out, and we actually got that money back in, and we're reloaning it out. And it's to build jobs and economic growth in Effingham County.
Thanks, Ed. Anything else? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, we'll call a roll on it.
Yes, sir.
Karen Luttrell.
Yes.
David Campbell.
Yes.
John Perry.
Yes.
Jeff Simpson.
Yes.
Doug McCain.
Yes.
Rob Arnold.
Yes.
Joe Taylor.
Yes.
Lloyd Foster.
Yes.
Item number 12, just to authorize Abbott Ambulance to use Altamont Ambulance as a mutual aid provider. When we went through the settlement on the lawsuit, Altamont was excluded from service, and no one saw them. It was our understanding they were moving away from the county, and from my understanding now they're going to be operating in Fayette County, and that would absolutely solve a gap over there that, for as far as mutual aid goes.
Is this the deal that Chief Hollamy still had a problem? Is this addressing
No.
that issue?
This isn't that
Okay,
issue.
I read the agenda item wrong then.
Yeah. This is just, we would have to amend the contract to allow them to use Abbott, or allow Abbott to use Altamont Ambulance.
That's part of
As
Mavis, okay.
mutual aid. It was mutual aid, not Mavis.
Oh, okay.
EMS mutual aid. Because they are required to establish mutual aid agreements, and that's, I mean, that's our entire western border, it makes sense. All right, any discussion? All right, I'm sorry, do I have a motion?
I will make that motion.
Motion by Jeff, seconded by Doug. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I mean, I have some points to bring up. I thought that we had issues at the onset of the contract, and you know that, so I voted against it. And this was one of the reasons why, not necessarily them in particular, but allowing others to come in, especially do transfers and those types of things. And I think we painted ourselves into a box that now it's difficult to get out of. And when Abbott isn't, my understanding is we're probably having issues, or we wouldn't be doing this. But Abbott's having issues.
Actually, we're not having issues, from what I understand.
Absolutely having issues.
You've had your turn.
Don't lie.
I'm not. We've had, from what I've been told, we had a couple issues at the initial onset with the radio, and they had that fixed within a couple hours. As far as mutual aid and backup, I haven't gotten a report on that yet. I've been getting weekly reports on it. As of last week's report, that was the only issue we've had.
Well, I just find it strange that in this particular case, not maybe necessarily others, but in this particular case, the Ambulance Oversight Committee and members of this board were adamantly against them being included. Matter of fact, to the exclusion that we wrote in the contract. And because they provided such a poor service, and that we were putting people in jeopardy. Lives were at risk, I was told. And now all of a sudden, it's okay to let them in. So I find that kind of ironic.
It's the only service to the west of us. Otherwise, the backup could come, for an Altamont call, could come as far away as Newton.
I'm just saying, it's, I don't know what's wrong with it, but it stinks. And because you can't be to where we have to make a change, they can no longer provide service, and to the exclusion of naming them specifically in a contract that we can't use them, as opposed to all the other services that are in the area. And then all of a sudden now it's okay, unless we're having trouble covering the west side of the county with Abbott. And so, I mean, I find this just perplexing.
Abbott isn't covering the west side of the county yet. City County is for another week or two.
And then after that,
After that, then Abbott will be taking the entire load.
then what do we need this for if it's during the transition
It's a
period?
mutual, it's to allow them to have mutual aid. We will not have mutual aid agreement with those west of us if we don't do this at this meeting, because their next board meeting is later next month. We would have a two-week gap in there.
If they can't cover it like they're supposed to be covering it, then maybe we ought to open the contract back up and go back to the square one and bid this thing out the way it should have been done in the first place. Exercise a 90-day out, get out and redo this process, because that contract's not a good contract.
Based on a mutual aid agreement? How many mutual aid agreements do we have in place that we never utilize? And it's an insurance policy to make sure if we have to come here, I don't want to do it.
I'm not
I don't
saying
want
not
to.
use them, that's not my point to this.
Well,
My
well,
point
to
to
an
this is
extent,
it was a bad contract to
Well,
start off with.
I'm not arguing that. Everyone understood the initial one before that was even to a different level that we had before that no one's agreement with. The issue I've got is if I don't have that mutual agreement, I'm not supporting the west side of that county. Not supporting that at all. We've got a mutual agreement. I'm willing to bet with anybody on the east side of that to make sure we've got it covered. It's our responsibility to make sure we've got coverage. If that is the only option I've got, that's what I've got to do right now. I can't leave that west side blank. I don't see how I got any other option.
You said in
Do
the
I?
same meetings I said in, when they told
agree.
us that we had to absolutely get away from.
Listen, I'm not ecstatic over what I'm doing. There was no hesitation on whether we liked it or not. But I have a responsibility to the people on that west side of this county to say, I've got to be able to provide you something. If the worst case scenario happens and I don't have this in place, who's going to be responsible for that?
Well, my
Who's gonna
point
be
is, if they're good
responsible?
enough now, why weren't they good enough before?
I don't have give me another option. I'll take another option if I have to. But to hold that against Abbott, to say I'm holding you accountable because we don't have somebody else to fall back on,
Has anyone tried Fayette County Hospital for mutual aid? That's the other ambulance service
I
that,
believe they have one rig. I believe that's all they have.
well,
Terry will be,
that really was not the question. It was, have they tried mutual aid with Fayette County, or they just brushed that
I don't know.
aside and got back into bed with Altamont?
I'm not opposed to looking for somebody else. I'm not opposed to that at all. And
Well,
just-
you know
I
my
just-
feelings. I mean, I made it quite clear even during the discussions in the private session that really wasn't during the litigation, that I thought we ought to open this thing up a little bit more and have more providers. And this is telling me that I was probably right about that. So, and at this time, we only have one choice, but I mean, there ought to be others that, even within the contract, the constructs of the contract the way it is, we're limited to one provider for 911 calls and for transfers.
So if we've got a mutual aid agreement, Sheriff, with other counties on your problem, does that mean that you're not covered properly on what you need to do?
Yeah, we need to have those mutual aid agreements.
But by John's interpretation, he's saying that we wouldn't have enough to cover by that contract, and that's not the case at all. You've got enough to cover that, but you still have mutual aid agreements with those other counties to make sure we're covered.
Yes.
It's an insurance
I don't
policy,
think
is all it
this,
is.
I don't think this is the same thing, and you know that.
it's very much like Mavis.
Why wouldn't it be?
It's not the same
Oh, it's
thing.
not like Mavis.
It's an insurance policy that he's got with each one of his surrounding counties. And that's the
Well,
way I'm
he didn't
taking
come-
this.
He didn't have a contract that explicitly excluded other counties from coming in and helping him, or other police departments coming in and naming them by name in a contract that says that they can't come and help, and all of a sudden now they can come and help. I mean, he doesn't have that. So this is a different scenario, a different situation.
I'm not opposed to opening up to find out what it is, as long as we don't leave that side of the county up with no support. That's what, is it hindsight on our behalf? It very well might be. But at this point, if I turn my back on that and don't support that, I'm leaving the west side of that county completely exposed.
Well, I agree with you.
And I can't physically do that. I
I think
can't.
you are. I
So-
think we did when we made the contract. That wasn't unforeseen. I mean, that was the same conditions that happened before we signed the contract. It wasn't like somebody pulled out that was over there before, right?
I don't know if they even had a mutual agreement with previously with
They
this.
did. They
Did
had
we
some
have one?
mutual aid agreements, but they almost exclusively used Jasper.
Jasper County to do that? Or,
There was a couple calls, I think, went north and a couple went to the southeast, but mostly it was Jasper.
I'm not in favor of where it's going. That's not the intention. I just don't know what option I have at this point.
Well, I don't either, but that's what I'm saying. That contract painted us into a box too. Because if we were willing to vet other companies and let them come here, instead of to the exclusion of Abbott, we may not be in this situation. That's my whole point. That's all I had to say.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 13, this is to add DUI court supervision monitor position in the probation department to the fiscal year 18 schedules, or salary schedule. Rob, this was your committee, you want to address it quickly?
Yeah, what they were talking about is we had a unique creature in the probation, a unique creature of a position. It's a DUI. There really never was an identification on any schedule for this position. It never was. It had always fallen back into a clerical position. And as we looked at it and reviewed that schedule, it was really short-sighted as far as what their duties and responsibilities were. Those duties and responsibilities from what the probation office had was very clearly stated and defined very well, and it was not a clerical position. So she had presented herself, she being Cheryl Myers from probation, had presented herself saying, listen, the judge has enacted, we've got 2 other positions similar to this, and the judge is taking ownership of those and putting those through, and if I misspeak, just chime in, anybody, the assignment and responsibilities for that pay schedule for those 2. But this 3rd one was not covered with that because that was covered under the county. So we wanted to try to match that, whatever the judge had assigned to that, set that schedule up on it. It will not be enacted until December when the budget comes around, and that's what we're proposing to do. I miss anything?
Yeah, our salary schedule has a DUI court supervision monitor on it.
So it was already on there then? So we don't,
She's wanting to get moved from clerical to its own position to be comparable with the other duties, other 2 people in the office that carry, that do about the same.
yes, but those were covered by the judge,
by the
not
judge.
by the county. So my mistake, I misspoke. They did have it on the schedule. All they've done is just covered, or just
She wants to
changed
move
her from clerical
over
to the DUI. I'll make that motion.
Sorry, I'll look at that first.
Yeah.
That doesn't number up. 1810,
What's already on there, but after December, we can make the 2%, that'd be 18, or 17, 18 something.
Which isn't
Which isn't 1810, she was wanting to move to, she's wanting to move to.
So we need to
It would
make the
all
motion
schedule.
to put it, change that schedule for that particular position up to that time.
We'll move to talk about this a little bit more. We'll move to table this.
That would have been,
I think we can clear it up right now.
Oh, okay.
that was
Well, I
under,
think with Cheryl not here, I don't know.
She didn't show up, did she?
No, we told her
Yeah,
that she didn't need to.
I think he can make a motion on a way that adjusts that schedule to the rate that she wanted her.
to match what she was
Right,
showing. Because
exactly.
right now, but this is showing this as a part-time position though, correct?
Okay.
And it's full-time,
And she wanted the 1810 instead of the 17.
correct?
So I think you just need to make the motion
To match what the judge had done for the other 2.
for that particular position.
That's what I want to do. I want to match what we had set up, or they had set up for the other 2 positions through the probation, to match that.
So you need to amend that schedule to reflect that.
And it will have to be amended to the full-time as well. So that's
Sign
showing.
that 1810, I'm sorry. As of December 1st, wasn't it, December 1st?
If anything, I would rather just hold off. I'm in no rush for this. Let's do this right. Let's slow this up, let's back it up. My motion's still on the table, I'm not gonna do it, but I don't wanna just piece it all together. We don't need this until,
You want to withdraw your motion?
I will withdraw my motion. Yeah.
One second.
So do we need a motion to table it?
Yes.
I so move.
Motion by Lloyd to table. Second by Karen, we'll send it back to Tax and Finance.
Yeah.
Clear it up. We have a motion second on the table. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Appointments, item 14.
We're gonna take them all at once?
I would, Jeff, you want to take them all at once? You want?
Maybe we take each section at once.
All right,
I so move on the Board of Health.
all right. Motion for the Board of Health for Christopher Balda, Dan Niemerg, and Charles Seiler for 9/1/17 to 6/30/2020. Do you have a second?
second.
Seconded by Doug. Is there any discussion?
Just a quick, Dan Niemerg, is he the newest member that's being brought onto that? Is that the?
No, he's,
Okay, he was already on there.
already on there, yeah.
Thank you.
Motion second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Ambulance oversight for Jonathan Polkey from 9/1/17 to 8/31/19.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Dave,
Second.
second by Jeff. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I just want to express why I'm going to vote no on this. The ambulance oversight committee was the one that led us into the current contract that we have, and with some of the, I feel like, are issues that we have that are ongoing. And he was a part of that, so, and I don't feel like, from a board member's perspective, that we were given the entire truth about some of these things, especially about the vetting process. And so I'm going to just express my opinion why. I'm gonna vote the way I'm gonna vote.
Is there any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion carries. The next one is Lucas Township Drainage District for Logan Mellendorf. This is 9/1/17 to 8/31/19.
I'll move.
A motion by Joe,
I say.
seconded by Lloyd. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next one is the 911 Committee at Large position. Cody Hart, he is left, and this will be to complete his term. And this is for Mike Poyster to replace him on the 911 board. The term would be from today up through the 31st of May next year. Have a motion.
So move.
Motion by Karen, seconded by Joe. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Ethics Commission. Jeff, you want to talk about this? You want me to?
I did want to talk about this. We interviewed 6 people, 5, 7? 6, I believe. And these 3 individuals, from our discussions, have absolutely no ties to anyone related in county government right now. They chose to apply for this position from the media. They saw it. And I think this is going to be a totally unbiased committee that we are appointing this afternoon. So I would make a motion to appoint these 3, Brad Given, David Holstein, and Gary Parker to the Ethics Commission.
Subject to approval of background check,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, that was part of it.
Have a motion, second by Rob. Is there any discussion? The only thing I'd like to add is I really appreciate the people who applied for this position. There were some high caliber people, and it made choosing very, very difficult.
What is the timeline of?
They will, these are 2-year terms. On their initial meeting, they will elect a chairman. They will also draw lots. And then one of those, the person with the short straw is going to do a 1-year term. The other 2 will do 2-year terms, so they overlap. All right, have a motion.
And the statute's pretty clear as far as
Yes.
as their expectations. Is there any additional training they'll have to go through, any classes that they're gonna be expected to be?
We're going to be putting them in contact with UCCI, and they have, I'm going to their initial meeting, just basically to answer questions for them and put them in contact with people they may need.
And they were made aware that Brian is our ethics officer, and he's the person to.
Put in contact?
Yes.
Have a motion and second on the table. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 15. Greg, highway.
Yes, one item, through the Road and Bridge Committee meeting last week, with recommendation to the board. It's to replace a small drainage structure on 400th Street over Limestone Creek in West Township. It's approximately 4 miles west of Edgewood. There's a location map on the back page. Basically, it's a standard agreement. It is with Civil Design, Inc. It's a relatively newer firm in the county. They do have 2 structural engineers. This will be our first bridge contract with them, so it'd be nice to give them the opportunity to do a bridge for us. But know that the committee does recommend approval, and I can answer any questions, or I'll try to.
Any questions? A motion.
I'll move to approve the such engineering agreement.
I'll second it.
Motion by Joe, seconded by Doug. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 16, discussion on the EMS building for lease of an EMS provider. I do have, when we started batting this around, I had a question about whether or not we could enter into a lease agreement as well. I'm going to be checking with our council and see if that's, and UCCI as well, to see if that is something we can do. Like I said, it's open for discussion. I don't want to waste a bunch of lawyers' time if this isn't something the board is interested in pursuing. But when the topic was brought to me, I thought it would be, it's absolutely worth a discussion. Simply because part of our contract is that if we do exercise our option to remove them, that we have one obligation on the remainder of the lease for the term of the contract. Granted, we would require whoever comes in to fulfill that lease, but the advantages I saw were that we could control location, and we could make sure that the building was maintained in a proper, in a decent way, because we've had some issues with that in the past. But like I said, I have questions about the leasing thing. I don't know what the cost is. I'm a little worried about that part of it as well. In other words, how long would it take for us to take the rent, for the rent to pay the building? I don't want to be in a long term.
I've got a community that's calling to say, instead of pulling another building up, we'll share some of our buildings to be able to utilize and be utilized by Abbott if that is. So I love the idea if I can tie that community and somehow feel that Abbott's making a commitment to not just my community, but to anybody else's, that we can tie it in there. I'd be pushing for that instead of putting it in
Fire
a building.
approached me as well.
That's where I'm coming from.
Ross called me too.
That was the plant that they wanted to
And
say, saying that,
I
hey.
think in inclement weather, I think that's someplace, or
Yeah.
that's someplace that they could post.
They said, let's work out the arrangement for staging, let's work out whatever we can do, but they're very much interested in opening up that dialogue, so.
Doug indicated that the extension center,
No, I didn't got to it yet.
oh, you haven't got back to him?
No, I'm sorry.
But there was preliminary discussion about maybe, what they really need is a place to put their ambulances in to stock them, and in case of inclement weather.
Sure. Sure.
Because they're not, even when they're running 4 or 5 rigs, they're gonna have 7 or 8 in the area, and we wanna be able to keep them so that they can
Well,
be.
I was even going to the next step of what, utilizing the water authority as well, not the water authority.
Dive rescue building?
Dive rescue building. I was just brainstorming, thinking that there's no reason why we wouldn't be able to put a basic amount of equipment there that would be needed, collars, whatever else. If you needed a board tear or two, they would be utilized there as well, so.
I did run that by them, and they were open to it, so.
Is that gonna be a problem with our lease with Water Authority?
I don't know. something we need to look into if that's what we're going to pursue.
Well, I'm just planting sand just for dialogue, that's all I want to do, because I think it's,
Because they donated the ground contingent would be used for dive rescue, and I think
Ambulance
would be
ambulance out there,
I
yeah.
would too. I just don't want to get a catch-22.
We just have to probably do it then.
My inclination is that we shouldn't be in the real estate business. We're county board, county government, and when we go down this path, even what Mr. Allen said, if that's, the case and we can't do it, I mean, even excluding that, I still don't think we ought to be in the real estate business, because then if we go out and build a building for this private entity, they come in and we lease it to them, then what's to preclude somebody else from coming in and saying, hey, you built them a building, build me a building? I mean, I don't know if we want to, even if we could, I don't know if we want to go down that rabbit hole.
But if we can't house the extension center, isn't that a government entity too?
Yeah.
It's not county government though, it's U of I, it's something different.
It's you and I. I don't know, see, they're just checking into it. I think they're having ground trouble.
It's a quasi-governmental unit, but they have a building committee within the board. Kind of independent.
So that's the difference.
I guess.
And they do lease space up there, they have
They're
one.
leasing out now,
Well, the issue,
That's what I was wondering.
on both sides.
the issue arose when they couldn't get investors to come up with a building. And a couple of them that I'd heard that what they were considering were in high traffic areas. I thought, there's gotta be a better place than that. That's the reason I brought it up. So if it's legal to do, we need to investigate it. They can't find anybody else to invest and put up a building.
Is that gonna be too, is that gonna be too far from Effingham, Major?
well, a lot of it's going to be dependent, again, upon staging area, what's
Staging,
going on, what's
yeah.
happening, when
It's
it's
going
going
to
to
be more of a staging thing.
But it's good
Same thing
dialogue to
on
have, there's
Right.
nothing,
Yeah.
nothing
Yeah,
wrong.
it'd be great for them.
I would rather them have that,
They
I'd rather have them
they
have
said
that
they have a lot
dialogue
of
than have
room.
us have that
Oh, yeah.
dialogue.
They said they have a lot of room, they can even put living quarters there.
Do they own that whole building? The fire
Fire,
department?
yeah. Protection.
Or whatever it is.
But again, it's a long way from Alabama.
It is.
Hmm?
But if they got one in Altamont,
Yeah.
one in Diedrich, one in Edgewood, a couple in Effingham, one
Well,
in
they got
Fisher.
5.
Yep, they may have covered, don't they? Or maybe Anna can't handle that.
Do we need to table this till?
It was just for discussion, there's no motion on this,
There's
we're
no
not gonna, not gonna act, I just wanted to bring it up for discussion. And I think probably first order of business is to find out if it's something we can even do. Because it'd be a waste of time to pursue any further. Like I said, I had that same question. All right. Elected officials report. Carrie.
The only thing I would remind anybody about who wants to run for election next year, the season's coming right up, September 5th is the first day you can circulate petitions. We will not have them in our office until that day. The State Board of Elections website does have them also. And if you have any questions with it for us, just call, do our best.
Thank you. Carol.
Yes, sir, I've got two things. First, I want to congratulate Deputy Forehand as a retirement. He's left, but he is still going to work for us a little bit, part-time, limited hours. So if you do see him in uniform, he's working for us part-time. As some of you may know, the last 4 days, we've used our EMA building down on the south end of town for the headquarters for the statewide area command for this eclipse. It was great training. Pam's doing an awesome job. I went down there Friday for a little bit, and I went down there today for probably about 3 hours. And it's amazing the things they have set up and the capabilities that we have. But it's for all of southern Illinois. The command post is here in Effingham, and it was a great training opportunity. I told those people I love seeing them there, but I don't ever want to see them again. Because if we don't see them again, nothing's happening here, and I like that. So, but Pam did a really good job. That's why she's not here today. And I asked her if it was okay if I put a plug out, because I didn't have anything major going on in my department, but I was really proud to see how that worked out, and everybody came together. The state police were there, conservation, ILEAS, all the alphabet people were there, so it's a good day, so thank you.
Well, in line with that, I got a note from her. She wants to thank Dive Rescue and Teotopolis Fire for offering their facilities for these professionals to sleep at. And Servpro, they provided the snacks. Hoffnet did a rush job to get 5 CatNet cables, or Cat5 cables ready for them. As Consolidated Communications and Jason Repking, apparently we had a little bit of an issue that there weren't enough IP addresses. And once Jason ran it down on our end, Consolidated immediately issued us 50. So that worked out really well. She wanted to thank Ameren for getting the power back on quickly out there after the power outage. The generator did kick on and cover it, but it made life a little easier once the power came back on. Pastor Wright from Emmanuel Lutheran Church was a spiritual support over there and did a Sunday service for them because none of them could leave. And then the Equity donated water, and the Red Cross provided lunch every day. So just want to say thanks to all of them. Dwayne.
Nothing.
Craig. Brian.
Yes, sir.
Bill.
In your package, you find the quarterly report, fourth quarter transportation report, is required by IDOT. Other than that, I have nothing else.
Okay.
Anything out of the ordinary? Anything out of the ordinary? Anything out of the ordinary?
No.
All right. Committee reports. Karen.
Yes, I attended CERMA in Bloomington on July the 27th, and just so you know that I did that. Then I also attended the CEFS award dinner. Annual report is in this, and an award booklet. The family of distinction is from Effingham. She is a grandma that has got her 3 grandsons that she's raising. She has a real interesting story, and then the scholarship recipients are listed in there. We gave out 3 scholarships through CEFS for college students. And then I received a certificate of appreciation because I am on that board. And so there's that. But I will have this on our table back here, and her family story is real interesting. I think some people would be impressed that she now is purchasing a home for she and her 3 boys, and when she moved here, she couldn't speak English. So she's gone all through the CEFS system and done as much as was available to her, and so now she's a working, independent taxpayer here in Effingham, so we're thankful for that, and all that service was provided through CEFS, so that's a pretty nice thing.
Dave.
Just wanted to thank the media for, promoting the revolving loan fund. It helps us a lot when we get the word out there, and we've got a couple more jobs, hopefully more than that, even coming in with Steve's new business starting up. And we actually are retiring our first bank. I mean, they've always been paying loans all along, but we're actually getting down to the last payment of a loan, of our first loan that we did coming up in October. So we're gonna have a little, I guess, a loan burning celebration, retirement celebration, sometime later this year. But I'll keep everybody informed about that. So
How much do we have available now?
after the 30, we're back to 22, roughly 23,000. But more rolling in all the time, so.
Jeff.
I think we touched on everything for legislative, but I did attend, we had a Alliance board meeting 2 weeks ago, and we had a good discussion about how to attract workers to this area. But right now, we're at 3.5% unemployment, and maybe setting up a committee to brainstorm on how to attract good workers to this. They're very interesting.
I'll get back to extensions and find out something like that now.
All right, that'll work. That would be best case scenario. Since they're already
I'll
got
try
it.
to get out.
Joe.
I have none. We did have a waste management committee meeting, and we kind of didn't accomplish too much in it, but we went ahead and set up a time for tomorrow morning, so if you'd all like to attend, we're going to start at the Methodist Church. It's going to show the collection process that happens there, and then taking it out to the landfill. And so we're going to cover some of the recycling options that are available and the cost associated with those. So I know Doug expressed some interest that he would come tomorrow morning. It's at 9 a.m. and we're meeting at the Methodist Church as opposed to meeting here. So I think it'll be a good educational opportunity for those that are want to be involved or at least know more about recycling programs and what we may or may not have available to us in the area. So I encourage you to all come out for that.
There's somebody picking up cardboard now. Who is that?
I don't know.
Actually, the city's website is probably.
Well, we had a
the best
place over
resource
there
at
at the
this point.
fair.
They got like 13 different, I think, were you at that meeting that they talked about the 13 different organizations that are involved in recycling in the community right now?
Well,
So it's probably listed on their website.
Well, somebody had a cart over there at the fair for cardboard, and somebody dumped it, but I don't know who it was. But somebody's picking up cardboard now.
I don't either, but there's a guy that lives down on South Fourth at Ike that personally himself picks up cardboard and sets trailers up and
Okay.
stuff, but, and that may be who it
Yeah,
was,
but
but.
somebody's doing something already again.
Go ahead. John, did you have anything else?
No, that was it.
I don't have anything.
Rob?
We had our department meeting last month. It hasn't been that long. Our primary focus was really on some of the discussion on the recording the documentation of time of the employees. Carrie has stepped up and has taken a lot of ownership of tracking that information down, so we will have a follow-up meeting with that to make sure all the department heads are on the same spot. It was good dialogue. It was good, it was informative, and a lot of questions came up that I think everyone needed to hear, so we're hoping that when we get some closure to that, we'll call another meeting for the department heads and bring them back together and make sure we're on the same page. So Carrie, thank you for doing that, much appreciated. Last and not least is tax and finance. It's that time of year again. We will be meeting August 31st. I think I said that for 6:30 if I'm not mistaken. Does that match with everyone's schedule? 6:30, tax and finance. No, I am not bringing pizza. Thank you for asking. I appreciate that.
Bring hamburgers in?
No, but we will be meeting at Jeff and I have a meeting. We'll touch base with Steve just to make sure that what his estimated incomes for next year are, we're on the same page and we know where that's at. At August 31st, 6:30 up here. Thank you.
We have a motion to go to closed session
So moved.
to discuss the FOP contract.
So moved.
Motion by Karen.
Was it on the agenda, Jim?
What's that?
I don't have it on the agenda.
Closed session is on there.
It was on there?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't, I have the original one, sorry.
19. I have a motion from Karen, do I have a second? Second by Lloyd. Is there any discussion? Okay, call roll, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Patrick Kane.
Yeah.
Rob Arnold.
Yes.
Joe Taylor.
Yes.